Have you ever lost everything in your life? Your dreams, your purpose, your reason to wake up in the morning. Most people think losing everything means life is over. But sometimes, that's where life truly begins. This is the story of a man named Daniel Gray, a man who thought his world had ended, until he discovered what it really means to live again. Daniel was once the kind of man people admired. He worked hard at a construction company, had a small home in the suburbs, a loving wife, and a little daughter who believed her dad could fix anything. He wasn't rich, but he was content. Every night, they ate dinner together, laughing about simple things, dreaming of vacations they could barely afford. Life wasn't perfect, but it was beautiful. Then one ordinary Tuesday morning, everything changed. Daniel was late for work. He kissed his daughter on the forehead, said, "Daddy will be back soon," and ran out the door. He didn't know that would be the last time he'd ever see her. Just an hour later, his phone rang. The trembling voice of a neighbor said words that shattered his soul. "There's been an accident, your house caught fire." Daniel raced home as fast as he could, praying, begging for it not to be true. But when he arrived, it was gone. The house was nothing but smoke and ashes. His wife and daughter were gone. His life, gone. He dropped to his knees, staring at the burning remains, unable to scream, unable to breathe. The fire took everything: his home, his family, and the reason he ever smiled. In the months that followed, Daniel disappeared from the world. He stopped working. He stopped eating. He sold what little he had left and began living in his truck. Every night, he parked under the same bridge, too numb to cry, too tired to care. People who passed by saw a broken man. But inside, he was worse than broken. He was empty. He didn't believe in anything anymore. Not in God, not in love, not in himself. He often thought of ending his life, of just closing his eyes and never waking up. He thought pain was permanent, and peace was impossible. Until one cold night, something unexpected happened. As Daniel sat in his truck, staring at the steering wheel, a knock came at his window. It was an old homeless man, wearing a torn army jacket. The man's voice was soft. "Got a blanket to spare, brother?" Daniel didn't even look up. "I have nothing left," he muttered. The stranger smiled gently and said, "That's where you're wrong. You still have a heartbeat. You still have a choice." Then he walked away. Daniel couldn't sleep that night. Those words kept echoing in his mind. You still have a heartbeat. You still have a choice. The next morning, he went looking for the man, but he was gone. No one had seen him. And for the first time in months, Daniel felt something. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was hope. Whatever it was, it made him get out of his truck. He started talking to other homeless people under that bridge. He shared what little food he had. He helped repair a few broken shelters. He listened to their stories, and for the first time, he realized he wasn't the only one who had lost everything. Slowly, something inside him began to heal. Helping others was helping him. He met a woman named Maria, a single mother living in an old van with her 2 kids. Daniel helped her find a part-time job at a nearby diner. In return, she cooked him dinner every night. They weren't family by blood, but by struggle. Together, they built small pieces of hope. Through Maria and her children, Daniel found purpose again. As the months turned into years, Daniel worked small jobs, saved money, and eventually started a small organization called Second Chances, a foundation helping homeless families find shelter and rebuild their lives. The first family he helped move into a home reminded him so much of his own that he cried that night, not from sadness but from gratitude. One evening, during a charity event, a young woman approached him and said, "Mr. Gray, your story saved my life. I was going to end it all last year, but I watched your interview about losing everything. You said, you still have a heartbeat. You still have a choice." That sentence stopped me. It gave me hope. Daniel froze. Those were the exact words the stranger had told him years ago. In that moment, he realized something powerful. That stranger wasn't just a man. He was a message, a reminder that when life takes everything from you, it's not ending your story, it's rewriting it. Years later, Daniel stood in front of hundreds of people at the 10th anniversary of his foundation. He looked around at the faces, families who once had nothing, now smiling, now rebuilding their lives. He spoke with tears in his eyes. I lost everything once. My home, my family, my will to live. But I learned something. Life doesn't take things away to punish us. It takes them to wake us up. To remind us that strength isn't about never falling. It's about standing again after you've hit the ground so hard, you forget what standing feels like. He paused, his voice shaking. If you're listening to this, and you've lost everything, please, don't give up. Your story isn't over. You still have a heartbeat. You still have a choice. That night, as Daniel walked home, he looked at the stars. He smiled. Not because life was perfect, but because he finally understood it. Sometimes, when life takes everything away, it's not ending you, it's rebuilding you into someone new. When you lose everything, you realize what really matters. You realize that the smallest acts of kindness, the simplest moments of love, are more powerful than anything you can own. Because the truth is, you were never meant to have everything. You were meant to become everything. So if you're watching this, if your world has fallen apart, remember this: as long as you have a heartbeat, you still have a choice. Don't let your pain end your story. Let it begin a new one. Because sometimes, the moment life takes everything away, is the moment life finally gives you yourself.